I chose this story because it is a familiar story and the flow of the story can be easily predicted by the listeners. This story is longer than the stories in Kit 1, but my experience is that when the story is familiar and predictable, beginning level students will be able to sustain their attention to the end after they experience several SL sessions. Short stories have merits, but long stories also have merits for A1 level students once they get used to hearing stories in English. I recently told this story to 2 beginning level adults who started the SLGSSR course with me only a few weeks ago. They come to a class once a week for 60 minutes and listen to 2 stories in one session. I asked them if this story was too difficult or too long. They answered that they listened with interest until the end. Longer stories have the following advantages. Merit 1, more input. The longer the story, the more input they will get. The amount of language input will increase. Merit 2, stabilize familiar words. They will have more opportunities to hear familiar words, allowing them to deepen their understanding of the words they have already acquired. Merit 3, review unfamiliar words. If they come across a word in this story that they have only recently heard, this is an opportunity to review the word and get familiar with the word. Merit 4, enhancing listening stamina. This will help them practice listening to English for a longer period. Merit 5, familiarity helps listeners relax and focus on other aspects. For example, the word syrup is a foreign borrowed word in Japan, and it is pronounced as shiroppu. But when they hear the word syrup pronounced in English, and when they understand what it means, then they acquire the receptive knowledge of it and will understand it when they hear it again in a different story. The benefit of story listening is also in understanding the sounds of the foreign language. Merit 6, no need to worry about having too many off-list words. Even if K1 plus K2 is 95.4%, if the remaining 4.6% of the words can be easily explained using comprehension aiding supplementation, there is more opportunity to provide students with optimal language input. In conclusion, when the listeners are at the A1 level and when they have experienced story listening 4 or 5 times, there are several benefits to a longer story as long as they can understand the story and find it interesting. However, my story listening experience is face-to-face in a classroom setting, and the feedback I receive from students is also for in-person story listening. Regarding screen-based story listening, lengthy stories may run the risk of causing viewer boredom. But if the narrative is engaging and easily understandable, longer stories have the potential to be effective even in a screen-based format.